We've not even broke
Don't start counting.
Not even broke the 90 barrier yet. Like, we've got a long way to go yet, but it's a pretty eastern plane, so that's going to cause problems for the Western teams like your Monte Nuevos, El Pozos. I was about to say La Cabrera, but Joker's obviously not in the roster anymore, so maybe somebody else is going to steal their spot. Who knows?
Well, this is the thing. This is when we start seeing teams hitting those changes up. They'll review potentially, day one, because they'll have all the theories coming out of their practice games, your previous seasons. But starting a new season, or phase 2, should I say, that's the best proof of it. Going, okay, well, this is where people are dropping. Maybe we can look for an adjustment. Maybe this sort of rotation route we can work with. So for me, I think we'll start seeing maybe teams making small adjustments. It'll probably take time for me to notice. I'm sure the desk will be far better at that. But it will be, that fun time where teams start changing things up. And I'm glad the desk started off like they did. There's so many points that, stood out to us yesterday that we can't completely put all our faith in or be worried about yet, because it is still only, it was day 1, this is day 2. But there's still a lot to be seen. And some of these teams certainly have question marks around them. Circle comes in. We are in the southeast.
So, interesting one. Porto Paraíso looking like one of the points of interest. Navi obviously in there. Noticing the drops, the positions, the changes. Digital Athletics, they used to be a Kumisera team last season, last phase.
They were during the kickoff cup too.
And they were during the kickoff, yeah. And even, from the scrims, the knowledge we have, they were going that way. But they have switched it up to Los Leones. M19 were a Los Leones team. They've gone even further south. We'll see whether FaZe Clan continue over to Monte Nuevo, where they commit. Winstrike, of course, have made the change. This is something they did throughout phase 1. They adjusted and went up to Campo Militar. Does, of course, mean, with the circle the way it is, rotations will be tricky.
To say the very least. Yeah. But the teams that really stand out to me with a circle like this is Na'Vi. Yeah. They've got a great step into the right position here. ENCE as well, I think we saw during the end of phase 1 and the cup that followed, they did get caught off occasionally with these sort of circles. It is very much in their lap. It's not a necessarily gifted circle to them, but being as split out as they are, you can lose out on individuals, which we found out and has shown time and time again. Going into the late game with 4 alive is so pivotal. So it can happen if they aren't, on their toes, because those scouts move early for circles like this. With that much water in play, people are looking for that prime cut and look to where they can go to. I'm glad you brought up Digital Athletics as well, because yesterday for me, I like them as a team. I became more of a fan through the cup, and I started to see the potential with the stand-in there. But, knowing that Ira's back on the roster, I want to see them starting to be a bit more aggressive, more assertive, take the fights. They were passive. They were getting great placements. I don't want to, say anything against that.
They were good snaking yesterday.
Exactly.
They were great
That's
snakes.
The thing. But I don't want that to be their first idea.
Their go-to.
Exactly, because they're such a good team. They have so much power.
You saw it on Erangel as well, how they kind of reverted back to that passive style. Yet on Miramar, they were definitely more up for it.
So I want to see that from them.
We're expecting CrowCrowd and Digital Athletics actually to be looking for those center points. You can see they're already on the move, so we're at 340, and they're already looking to try and get those early positions set, and Mert both eyeballing each other, it seems, judging by the map. Mikaz also expect to see ENCE probably going for that 2-2.
Yes.
Navi probably going to go up towards the hills, north side of Porto Paraíso, and try and find themselves some sort of position. FaZe did commit. They went over to Monte Nuevo, so they're over that way. The Knights are in their standard spots. NIP happy that they don't need to contest with the likes of 17 Gaming.
Yes, a
in
nice little bit of a change up there for them, isn't it?
Yeah, they were. That was a tricky one for them, no doubt about it. TSM, by the way, were you expecting Unity to be clashing with TSM around Hacienda? But it seems that Unity have decided we'll just stick more further south, sort of graveyard-ish. Just the open loot compounds, the smaller issues. I don't know how that's going to affect them as a team, because they didn't have that great a performance yesterday, but then again, it was day 1 for them in the league, coming out of the second division.
God. And you know what? You're absolutely spot on. The one thing that frustrates me is this situation you just saw on the little picture there. Is one of the Vitality players already suffering, very limited on loot, not in a good position to go forward, and it's... This is what frustrates me about this, and it used to do it about Pachinki as well. I was never a fan of the amount of teams that used to go Pachinki back in the method days and things, way back then, because you talk about longevity and utility, and you talk about what you walk away with, and it's always going to be slightly less than ideal. Now, it's prime. It's a really good location. It's a really good spot. I don't want to say anything other than that about it. It's certainly worthwhile if it's just yours. But you look at what that Vitality player had. He was down to almost no meds, double stimmed. He was just, sat down there, and it means that they can't put players out to do early scouting. It's not just the fight, it's the knock-on effect. And I really hope the Desk breaks this down in quite a specific way, the negatives and benefits of these positions.
Is it low? Like, I mean, Minister Morales, yeah, it's a relatively central point. That's the good thing going for it.
Right.
Rotations are relatively easy from it. But is it that good a point that it's worth fighting for?
If it's one team,
it's
not if you're fighting
it's not
for
like
it.
the be-all and end-all of loot drops. Let's face it. And there's a lot of places on Miramar that you can go to. ENCE spotting Unity, or hearing them more than spotting, I think, going past on their vehicles. So expecting ENCE to stick with a 2-2. We'll see whether they do fully group up. Obviously, they have prime real estate. Tripoli is ready and waiting, but it's shooting the vans. So, yeah, you're not going to get a great deal out of them. They can take a lot of shots.
Yeah, they're mini little tanks. The one thing for me, I think, as well, just kind of falling back to that as the shots do come through, this is obviously all the teams from the north coming in towards those sort of locations as well. You're going to be looking at TSM running a similar route, but they've actually made it quite nicely so far in rotation. Winstrike, Raise Your Edge, Knights, etc. All these teams will start getting those shots towards them eventually. But it's also loot, and we don't talk about it this much, but players, teams, individuals, they'll have an ideal setup. They'll have the gun they want. I mean, Chris is the easy go-to. The guy loves an M24.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get it, he's not happy. But it's one of those things. You'll have that gun, that setup that makes you feel comfortable and confident. And if you're constantly vying for these areas and vying for loot and always being left a little bit behind, you're going to struggle. So for me, that's what frustrates me again.
I wonder with this going on, and both teams have been fairly vocal to us saying we're willing to commit 2 to 3 weeks to this. And that's, I mean, you're looking at that, that's what 12, 16, 30, 40.
Oh, this is Digital Athletics, Lee. This is actually a big pickup.
And he's going to get flushed out here.
Samty's been knocked. This is perfect.
There's no smoke going down. It's too late. The smoke is far too late. Iroh catches him out, and Samty goes down. We saw yesterday, Team Liquid, they went down 16th place on game 1, day 1 here. And Iroh doing the push onto Jempty. Tell you what, the two brothers, they're both in trouble here. Samty's down. Jempty may well follow him.
8 nades on Iroh. Oof, that's not nice.
That's cooked well as well.
Yeah. That's going to give him... I want to talk about Jempty's angle he was working from then, especially in that position. You could see how he backed away to hold a passive angle that works, but you can't get away from the nade. Iroh's nade will fall perfectly in the pocket of Jempty, and that's the Digital Athletics I want to see.
He's getting shot from behind. Who's stealing this one? Who's trying to steal a kill? That looks like...
Could be CrowCrowd.
Is it Vitality or...
ENCE? I don't know.
I mean, it's 6-1 that confirms it. So that's 2 for DA early on against Team Liquid. And again, just like game 1 yesterday, we've seen Team Liquid falling early on Miramar.
And we saw this, we've seen it before. We've seen them fall in last place in the first game yesterday. It happens, but we know they can bounce back. They're the one team I don't worry about because they have a really good game plan overall. This though, to me, is just a big tick in the box for Digital Athletics, rather than being passive, rather than just kind of falling away and not taking those fights, especially in an area like that that's going to be busy. That's so good.
I mean, it's all obviously coming about because of the way the circle is. Nobody wants to go Los Leones. Nobody wants to go the water. You've got this sliver of hillside that everybody is aiming for, central ground. Rafi continuing those Car 98 shots, hoping he can land something on Jazza, but the little Irishman's dodging, ducking and weaving. And he's going to be able to avoid that one. The Northern Irishman, I should say. Get the correct country. They tend to be quite picky about that one.
That's called people off.
Oh, that's a shift and a half. That's got deep south shift. And that, bearing in mind, ENCE were centre point. And look where they are. They are on the tip of the circle.
They had a 2-2 split. That was decent. It was, very well set for the normal circle of the Leones, but now everyone barely got in position. Look at this migration. If you can see the map right now, open that stream up and look at this for yourself. Because that is everyone in the vehicles moving down south.
It's a full north to south rotation, everybody. And honestly, with the way it's gone, there's not really too much room to maneuver. You can't go out on the east because there's a bloody big sea there. There's a coastline, so everyone's got to go, well, you can't go west because Los Leones was there, so everybody was in this funnel, and now they're just basically going down a valley, as it were, if I go full Welsh.
I was about to say that accent is something else. First blood, really beyond that initial fight coming out from Pokemon Molodoy. Na'Vi, a team that I will only continue to look at as a benefit. starting things off well from here. That is not good, Snark. He is in the middle of the open VOD, hyper aware that there is potential of other players nearby falling back to his teammates. Nice approach. He certainly hindered them. And who can get it? Can you believe it? The fight's still going on up north as ENCE just maim their own teammates. But the problem is there's a lot of teams that could steal that away, so that knock could be a problem.
Yeah, they're getting shot at. It's M19 that are taking fire onto ENCE as they try that. Meanwhile, back in the north, in Minas Generales, it's still going. The Blues about to be on him in a second, but Shiv will get one down. Kramer down. Rafi comes a peek around the side. He's looking towards Natus. Natus going for the peek. Catches him in the head, but Natus took Shiv down in the process. It is back and forth as Jazza will confirm that one. So Reciprocity down one. There's 2 knocked at the moment for Vitality, and the Blues on him.
Yeah, here comes that blue. This is a huge issue. Vitality are surrounded on all fronts, but Reciprocity can't hang around too long. They know that as well. It is the bigger picture.
Rafi!
Extension from Rafi. That was sloppy from him. And Vitality are not going to look that down. They're not going to turn that away. Haxedi with the nade could get caught out on timing. He doesn't. Jazza gets pinned into that small compound. And again, Scoom is there to find them.
Gets Nasus down, so it's just Jazza that's standing 2-on-1. And these is literally mutual assured destruction between them. I mean, they're all collecting points from kills. Sure, that's great, but you're not going to be looking at placement points.
Only.
They talked about it on the desk. They have no placement points so far for Reciprocity, and I think we're seeing why. Wookie picked off by G2 there. Shadow will bleed out, and that leaves Jazza now the last man standing. As you say, bandages in the blue, not a good standing.
I don't think it's going to happen for them, and this was the issue. Jazza was the player I think we saw knocked early, and now he's going to be suffering down late game. It is that kind of mutual destruction of each other, and it's not going to end up particularly well for either. They are a million miles in the blue, back into the circle where teams have actually moved. Okay, Reciprocity might be able to get out because they have a bike near Scoom, but Jazza's just going to take down anyone he can with him. He's got 2 bandages left. You might as well go and try something. I guess if you want to deny points, sit here and bleed out. But is that really how you want to be playing this game at the moment?
Fully boosted, see what he can do. He's going to bandage up, and he's going to go for it. Aduzi, though, he has a sense that M19 are nearby. They've obviously, everybody's took this southern migration. Navi actually went furthest south. Winstrike looking to try and do similar as they come down the coastline towards Pokemoldoy. Navi are ready for them.
Yeah, quite split up. Jazza has taken Scoom with him. This isn't bad for Jazza. He's just going to be being the biggest nuisance he can be. And for Haxedi, he's bleeding out. He's half HP. I think I saw him healing then, but again, this blue is chunking. The circle moves right in towards the land. It still has a touch of Leones in it, so there is going to be a lot of those compounds that people don't really want because it probably will move away. And there goes Jazza. So the battle was won by Reciprocity, but really the war is no one wins out of this one. Na'Vi, I want to keep looking at this team constantly surprising me. They were very close to M19, very close to Winstrike, but they've kind of peeled away from that. They've headed back over, but that eastern side is so condensed.
Team Liquid, while they're down to 2, have actually got that central point. Scoom is back on his feet. Quick bandage to get himself up. Has he got anything left? He's got a first aid, so he's going to be able to get himself back up. We'll see whether they do manage to get out of the blue. Meanwhile, Miraku kicked out of the Murado. Quickly taken down by Uber. Simple finish there as well to flush him out. Nuki's found Raise Your Edge. They are continue. Raise Your Edge, what are you doing? They've just come so late from the north, and then they've tried to go down the Porto Paraíso road. It's insanity, yeah. And now wisely they've pulled into Porto Paraíso because they're trying to go too deep into the circle, too late.
And again, this is still a new roster to me. They still are working things out, and maybe these calls need to be smoothed out and keep that mentality about them because all of this area is taken, especially the edge of the circle, especially off that rotation route. But we are seeing the Knights fighting it out with NIP, and so far, NIP have held their ground quite well. The Knights have lost out on 1, but they have suffered casualties. It's very uncomfortable. The Knights are trying to find a way, and MBS could be in trouble if he can yeet that nade.
He's got Gaxi to the left of him. Like you say, that nade was...
Oh, it wasn't far.
I tell you what, the second one is going to be close. Uber continuing. There goes VOD. He actually stole that kill away, so that's 2 for FaZe Clan now, 2 for Uber, in fact, as he continues to benefit from this fight. They're trying to get the flanking positions. You can see FaZe, he has such a clean angle on all of the whole battle is playing out.
And keep in mind, Fuzzface and the others are just slightly in a southern position, pinching in NIP to keep them locked to that blue side. So even if they work forward, the Knights work forward into potentially, and more than likely, the new circle, it's going to be very tricky. They would have to look for, a more northern swing, southern swing. For them, time is going to be a factor, and looking ahead is going to be a factor. That's going to be very hard for them to transition away from this position, so they might have to capitalize on what's in front of them now, which could be the points of pickup.
He has a great field of view, doesn't he? Uber there, he sees everything, sees absolutely everything. And as you mentioned, Mexi and ENCE there, off to the side. You can see them just on the minimap, just sort of the side there. Uber is further south, sort of almost parallel with NIP. So
Reciprocity made it in.
great angle. They have managed to come in. I mean, the fact is that everybody went so deep south, it's left the north completely exposed. So they've just come into the edge of the circle quite happily.
Oh, Gaxi. God, 8 nades as well. Everyone's a walking just absolute beast. We did see a bit of a tag there, and Gaxi confirmed it. Really nice play towards Drayton. Maybe catching him out off guard.
And then Uber comes in with the
exactly.
damage.
He's got such good vision on this. Gaxi going to take the nade, try and just
that's
trickle that out the window. It might at least do a bit of damage, potentially ward off maybe a revive. But if he's buying time, I don't know where MBS is.
He's trying to bounce it off that. He's got it. He got the bounce. He got the bounce. Yeah, that did the damage as well. He doesn't. Is he going to go for the second bounce? I think he believes it didn't really land, which is probably why he's going for it. He should have just bested out. He got Reels down as well. Reels was going for the revive. He comes around the corner. There's one more in there. Is he going to see him? He does. He gets Reels down. There's another. He was literally in the smoke. He just ran away from him.
They had no idea. The smoke was so thick in that area. The remaining player, who was that? It's Snark still alive, and he is counting his lucky
stood
stars.
on top of them, yeah.
Yeah, he has no idea how he got away with this, and Snark now is going to be right
He might
behind
catch
him.
him
They
in the
don't
back.
expect it exactly. He could be that dagger in the back if he can find the angle, but there's now issues elsewhere. FaZe are on the move, and Digital Athletics are out for blood today. They look a little bit more ferocious. As another nade comes out from Gaxi, they don't know where Snark is.
The problem is Iroh is distracted. He's fighting Navi as well. So Digital Athletics are fighting a battle on two sides. As you mentioned, Snark, he's sat waiting, keeping up behind NIP. We saw so many backstabs yesterday. This could definitely work.
This could be huge. Nice coming on the peak. He can't isolate the 1v1 clean enough. Gaxi outdoes him, and it's going to be go time for NIP. They stay alive for now, and we saw that FaZe were already moving on, so they might have a clearer path forward.
The irony is that, Team Liquid, who were involved in that original fight, they are still central to the circle. They've managed to work their magic and keep the two alive into that central point, as you mentioned, and you can see FaZe Clan now starting to work the angles towards Digital Athletics. Iroh's in the compound to the right there, while the rest of them spread across the hillside, but FaZe have a big spread here. Fuzzface is the one that's sneaking down low. You can see he's got, let's see, is it Uber with him? I believe it is. No, it isn't. It's a lie. He's got Mexi with him. It's Mexi and Fuzzface, the old guard, creeping up on Iroh.
Yeah, and the angles that they can find here could be quite nice, because as soon as they get contact, as soon as DA look towards Fuzzface, you should see Uber and ENCE start moving forward. If they crest this, this is going to be so good. If ENCE keeps moving up, this is very, very big work. Na'Vi in another battle down there with Winstrike. That was kind of always happening in the south. Those two are sharing that area. I don't know how aggressive FaZe want to be to claim this, because they are in, but is it valuable? Aduzi's actually putting shots down towards Digital Athletics as well, so they're getting plenty of attention here. Yeah,
it's because Iroh had been taking shots on him, so it's kind of drew that attention towards him. This is a replay of Gax's play earlier on. Does manage to come around and find the rest of Snark and saw the pile up of bodies there. Could have got them all in one clean sweep if had he known through the smoke, but Digital Athletics, Iroh's managed to get across the road. How on earth did he get across scot-free there? That's because FaZe actually have repositioned. Yes. They've repositioned from the hill.
Yeah, they kind of peeled across and consolidated over by the kind of southern side of the road, I guess, maybe southeast, with Fuzzface, where they were originally. Maybe just feeling they do not want to risk. If you're seeing shots coming over your shoulder towards the team you're about to push, which would be Na'Vi's vision towards Digital Athletics, you probably don't want any of that. Scoom is going to be playing a very lonely game for a very long time now.
This is something we've seen before from Scoom, alone in a shack. Back in the Team Liquid days, similar type of thing. So he's just trying to keep seeing if actually he can get any placement points for Reciprocity after the battle with Vitality. That's why you're seeing just 14 teams standing at the 20-minute mark. So G2, they've come in relatively unscathed, one man down. Tell a lie. No, they did lose one man. They lost UDMA Fire. He's not there. And the circle, well, it's not too bad a shrink. ENCE are going to be happy. And as we said right from the start, ENCE, they were in the position. They've kind of been central the whole way. They've just had to shuffle south, but keeping themselves central to it. Team Liquid also sends her in there. Uber's down, and Gaxi trying to finish him off.
Yeah, this was the knock, if I'm not mistaken, by A Beautiful Death.
How big is that nade?
That could be quite nice. That could bounce very well. Iroh's absolutely just yoinked that away. NIP were desperate to get that one in the pocket, but now here comes the next issue. It's ENCE and Team Liquid folding onto each other, and look at James' angle. Look at that nade. It's going to go right towards the cars, and Mikas just realized in time. He's got to back away from this. Where is the rest of ENCE? They're getting just as much pressure elsewhere, but they're staying alive. And it looks like that's Team Liquid gone, as is Reciprocity.
Yeah, Scoom got picked off in the shack. Team Liquid taken down, pushing on ENCE. They did get one Just squeaky down. Mikans will manage to pick up the loot. Mert just ripped MBS off that bike there. That's pretty impressive stuff. Now looks across and sees Unity. Picking him across. Open field. It's a turkey shoot.
This is so good. This is the team I was waiting to find out. And there's a beautiful death finding Pokemolodoy. These are the plays that you want to be seeing. You want to see this on Erangel. This is a team that can surprise and really cause terror. 4 kills already with 3 players. Some
big movement from Navi. They were next to Winstrike, and they've completely peeled around the edge of M19's compound. And actually, they're coming into play right on top of Gax. You can see the other side. Mert and Iroh may well spot him. If Iroh hopped and looked to the right, he's focused on CrowCrowd. Now, if he looks down there, he's going to suddenly see 2 very easy players. Switches to the nades. We know he had 8 nades on him earlier on. I don't know how many he's got left, but they're going to be looking for the fight. Bestalosh caught out by FaZe at the back. We may see Navi fall early.
I do not doubt what he can do though. Senya does get down Mert. Where's the follow-up? Where's the trade? It doesn't look like Digital Athletics have a player close enough by. They can't keep that pressure on. Senya might have just stemmed the bleeding for a second, but no, there comes Iroh around the side. That's the play we were waiting for. A doozy wants to fight back. He's got the angle. He cannot stand the pressure as Iroh gets the job done. Navi are out in 12th. And finally, you get to see the powerhouse coming through. That dangerous, explosive team. They've lost out on players though, and this fight is not relenting in the Northwest.
Yeah, FaZe and Co have been given an angle on Digital Athletics as CrowCrowd and Unity go at it. It's a battle for the colors. They both hold the turquoise color, and it's going to see who comes out on top. CrowCrowd, we're here first. Unity are the new young upstarts, but CrowCrowd, their changes to their roster have worked out well. I really like the changes they came up with. Here's FaZe and ENCE trying to make the push on towards Digital Athletics. They're going to back away from that one. Winstrike are actually engaged with Raise Your Edge. That's down on the compound in the bottom corner of your screen at the moment as the Winstrike go for the siege.
This is insane. There is so much going on here. We have to take stock for a second as the circle did move, but this is just waiting to explode again. ENCE are still in several battles. We've got the push on the compound. This is Raise Your Edge holding the top floor. We've got Winstrike on the bottom. That smoke, I thought if that had been a nade for a second, woof, but Chris is alive, Minox is alive. Where is the rest of the team? Fast Rail's still up.
TSM are coming round. TSM are coming. Look at them down low. They're coming up low. Fast Rail's actually coming up the hill as well. He may get caught in the back by TSM as they try and make the push. Menak's got Jorsk out as he tried to make the push on the stairs. So Raise Your Edge helping. Fast Rail's got into the building across
TSM.
the side. And yeah, as you mentioned, TSM are going to come straight in behind them.
Yeah, give them 10 seconds there right at the door, and this is perfect cleanup time for them. They might take a second to think about the situation, but they are waiting. Fast Rail is on the flank. He's so close behind them. If they get one more knock, if Raise Your Edge can knock one player, he needs to get in there right now.
Does he have a nade? Just a single nade in the bottom of those stairs would actually catch it. They're pushing up. Menox and Chris upstairs. We can see them coming straight up there. Menace gets one down. They're catching each other out in the goal. Oh no, it's a tragedy for Winstrike. Menox finally gets down, but don't forget they've got Chris in there as well, and he's just confirming all of the kills. Nuki manages to get Fast Rail down and confirms it. I think he's down to a one-on-one.
I think so. Oh, but here's TSM. It's cleanup time. This is exactly the one you want. Oh, what a denial for a second. I thought Nuki might have done something absolutely filthy, but it's not to be. They wipe each other out.
While this has been happening, ENCE and G2 have clashed in the north, and that's G2 wiping ENCE out.
Chris just go off?
Yeah, Chris just caught them all out there, taking down 3 members of them. Gax is still alive, but CrowCrowd are getting picked off by M19. They've been sitting in their compound the whole time. FaZe has still got 3 alive as well. Raise Your Edge, don't forget they're still in that compound. That's not done yet between them and TSM.
Certainly not. Chris and Minox upstairs. At least they might be able to get some nades off of this or something, but it's a real dire situation. The nades from TSM have been kept. They went
that's a great nade.
Oh, what? PUBG, please. And the push comes in. Does he get a point? I don't know if he got the point.
Michael
came in. I think the revive's going to come out. And yes, TSM do win that battle. Gaxi just found Kemba.
And that's wiped Kemba out. How did he survive that nade? Unbelievable. So that's put him into the top 5. That's impressive. So FaZe now with 3. G2 with 2. NIP down to 1.
M19.
TSM got 3 back on their feet. And M19, they've been sitting in this compound watching it all play out from their warehouse with 4 alive.
Okay. I'm not sold by M19 yet. I want to see more from them. I think that has been a bit of a resounding element. We need to see something here.
I want to point out, M19 did not win a game, I believe. I think they were the only team not to win a game in Phase 1. I may be wrong. I don't have my piece of paper with me. So I
pizza
forgot.
Paper.
Not my pizza paper. I didn't write my stats on my pizza paper. But I may be wrong on that one. I'm pretty sure they were the only team not to pick up a win.
Okay, let's talk about the situation we have here then. In the north, you still have G2. They played Edge all the way through, and it's still working well for them. NIP have Gaxi left out in the north as well. No one's in safety, excluding TSM and M19. It looks that, you know, Chris can get a bit of vision here. FaZe will have to go towards M19 at least a touch, but the ground isn't really helping out FaZe too much. They're going to have to put down smokes and define their own way through, and I like that positioning you're about to point out.
Dimash, he's on the screen right now, and he's got great angle. Oh, he shot one too early. Dimash, what are you doing? Former Joker's player. Definitely a big pickup for M19. Had a great, solid performance in Phase 1. And speaking of FaZe, they're the ones that are on the move. Got that smoke wall, a beautiful smoke wall with that shack. Kane coming around the back of them. Yeah, G2, but he's coming in a vehicle, so it's made it quite aware to him. Also, Gax is making a run up the side. He's pulled out the grenade. Well, you don't bring a grenade to an SLR. Straight in the face, down you go. Kane catches him out, and G2, though, picked up quite a few kills now, I believe. Yeah,
after that wipe towards ENCE and all the other pickups on the way, they've done quite nicely. Chris is the absolute poster boy for everyone's attention so far, especially from TSM. I think Constantine might have just seen him too. But every team is just trying to shuffle in. That's it right now. You might lose out on a player, which is going to be, sadly, the downfall of G2, but...
all the shots onto Chris there on the map. We could see it on the mini-map there, just tracer fire from every angle coming towards Chris. He's in that smoke trying to work his way down the hill.
He should be able to get into safety, though. I'm pretty sure he should be okay at that. He might get caught through the smoke. That's one thing. Oh, FaZe are moving towards Kane.
I think he's out of smokes.
Towards him. That's a nice pickup from ENCE. Very crisp. But now TSM might have vision of this. That's my one worry.
He's out of smokes. He's out of smokes, Chris is. I don't think he's got anything left. Mexi's just been knocked headshot from Gustav. So finally they're engaging. So that's FaZe going a little aggressive and then trying to pick up some of that loot. And he will get flushed out. So Gustav stole the kill away there onto Kate. And Chris is finished, so no doubt about that one. Out of smokes, out of time, out of chances, does fall down. So we're down to TSM, M19, and FaZe. The three-team face-off. 3 members from TSM and FaZe Clan with M19. Dimash, he's trying to play as much as he can. I believe he just got a crate there, if I'm not wrong.
For me, if you're Dimash in this position, you're telling your team, I'm going to do something stupid that could help us in the long run, right? It's so risky to go out in the middle of the field, leave your team open, and now these other 2 teams are trying to do the same, find that room to rotate and try and push their way into the next circle, but they're going to catch each other out. FaZe and TSM both looking at that side of the hill because it will deny line of sight towards M19, but it looks like the Wanderer is living up to his name. He's going walkabouts. He's getting very close to Mexi here.
Right on Mexi.
This is very dangerous. This is nice from them. I like this, actually, quite aggressive, smart play.
This is nice from Gustav. Gustav's basically giving full cover fire for Michael there. Rory coming around the side. Dimash tries to come over the top. Wander is there. They had the double peak advantage, and Mexi will get taken down. That's FaZe down to 2. And remember, FaZe, they're in clean view of Gustav, a former FaZe player, obviously at Star Series 2.
They're putting a lot of faith here in elite player. Keep in mind, he did not get a kill in yesterday's game, so they need him to hold watch point. If he doesn't catch or spot out that TSM have worked their way out of the compound, that could be a bit of a problem.
TSM have moved to the center point. They've managed to take control. So everything that's going to happen around them now in Phase 9 is got to come to them. So this warehouse, this compound, these ridges that M19 and FaZe are holding on, Gustav is standing dead center of the circle right now.
Yeah, M19 just took the pressure off of TSM to allow them to do this. Them focusing towards FaZe is a 50-50. You're going to do, one or the other. That's allowed the team who had those 3 players up to push forward. So FaZe and ENCE, you're going to have to be banking on other players' errors to give you a shot against M19 because they can trade far more effectively. And TSM don't have a bad position here either. Getting Gustav into this spot is very nice. He's center as hell. And actually, the position, that ridge line he's in, is very strong. I don't know how many nades M19 have. That utility is going to be big, and it looks like they have a few left, but so does FaZe.
Yeah, they've not been involved in too much. Remember, TSM land a great nade. The second one's going to come. That may actually wipe FaZe out. FaZe down to nothing. The blue's on the back, and that's going to tick. He's got nowhere to go. You're not going to... He's just trying to loot off ENCE as much as he can. But Constantine, he's pushed around. He's caught Gustav out, and that's give FaZe a chance to try and move. Rory just caught an angle on him, but couldn't catch his head as the blue pushes in.
Yeah, this is about to get very intense. M19 should stay as a collective in this one. They should be aware of everything. They have information on both sides. They know there's still a FaZe player up. They know where TSM are. They have have good ideas, but if these nades come through, if TSM... Oh, Fuzzface! The timing! That could have been terrifying, but it's Gustav going down and Fuzzface going down. Confirmed dead. 2 teams. It's TSM down to 2. Michael and Rory up against everything M19 has.
Yeah, all 4 M19 players sweeping around. They see them on the ridgeline. They try and catch the headshots. Rory tossing out what he can, but Michael caught in the flank by a lead player. We were talking about him. He gets taken down, finished out, flushed off, but it will be M19 that pick up their first